Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Agnes and Renee will present a session about resume writing, Canadian resume writing, which is very important, which is very sometimes very different from what we used to from our home countries. And so it makes a big difference how you write your resume to have a successful interview and to have a job that you wish to get. So both of them have great knowledge and will be able to provide all the information you need. So how this has worked, you can ask questions on the end of the session after Agnes is done presenting. If you can see, there is a button, question and answer, Q&A on the bottom. And you can type your question in at any time, actually, and then we will go through your questions. If you like a question that has been asked already, just thumbs up, and then it will jump up so we can see it. Maybe some people have the same question, then we don't have to repeat it, just like it. Yeah, I think that is pretty much it. So if you could try to ask your question at the question and answer button, whatever, that would be great. Then we have one place to focus on, but the chat is just as good. So thank you so much. I disappear now and you have a great time. See you later.
See you. Well, thanks, Olesya, for introducing us already into this webinar. Just in case someone out there don't know us, I want to introduce myself. I'm Agnes Reimer. I am an employment facilitator for almost 3 years now with Regional Connections, and I really enjoy meeting everyone and just working towards your goal, your job goal. And we will today just briefly cover the resume writing in this presentation. It's our first time to do it as a webinar, and we really need your feedback after this. So what was good or what is more needed, because we are looking into doing this in the future more often. So we are staying connected, we are staying learning. And even in this time where maybe job opportunities are not abundantly, but more rare, we still have the opportunity to kind of prepare ourselves for the job we are all looking for, right? So, and this is one of the tools we want to give you. So if any one of you would be interested to meeting us one-by-one, it is still possible. We are offering FaceTime appointments, or even over the phone, if that's more comfortable for you, or even in person, but only by appointment and in Winkler. So Olesya already said a little bit about how we're doing that with the questions. I will not just wait to the end. We will always look, if you write a question, Renee will answer this, and she will introduce herself in a little bit, and then we will do a little break, so we will just keep communicating instead of just listening to my speech, okay? Renee, you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Renee Peters. I'm also an employment facilitator at Regional Connections. I've been with Regional Connections now, it'll be almost a year soon. So yeah, thank you for all coming.
Yeah. Okay, let's get started. So first I want to tell you a little bit about Regional Connections and that, okay, now it's working, that we are a one-stop shop that provides several services, resources, and referrals. And I will just really short go in it because I've saw some names that are not familiar to me, so that you know who we are and what we do, right? So we include settlement services, we have an integration and volunteer program, we have a Swiss program that's settlement workers in schools to provide all these connections. We have English as an additional language class, literacy classes, and employment services for newcomers and Canadians. And that makes us so excited that we can really work with so many different people. And employment service includes something like Well, resume writing, you know already, and interview coaching, but that's just one small aspect of all the employment services we are providing. We help with job search support. There are so many opportunities and tools where we can look into it and where we can try to find the correct or the dream position for you, right? We talk about cover letter development, career counseling, and other services. We have a job board in the moment. It's not really active, worked on, but normally we have a job board. We have computers available in our offices in Morden, Winkler, and Altona. And during our office times, you can come in, and we have drop-ins even where you can just come when you just need a small update on your resume, a quick job research assistance, or anything else where you don't really need that one-on-one in the privacy. Okay, so what is a resume? Everyone probably already wrote a resume in the past of your life, but still a resume is just kind of like your skills and your work history, your education, and a lot about your life experience. And I know in some countries or in some cultures, it's not really necessary to write about your life experience, but here we really look into that, because it is a way to market your skills, and we are writing a resume with the goal to get an interview. Because the employers are not hiring resumes, they're hiring people. But this resume you're working on, it should open that door so that the HR manager wants to meet you. It needs to give you an interview where you can present yourself and your skills and your knowledge, your strengths, and yourself, right? And your resume should really, like all the information should be really easy to be found and to be read. It should be clean, and it should really present your personality. We figured out that there are 9 steps to a great resume, and we will cover all the steps now when we are starting to go into the depth, and we will break it down for you. Okay, I'm just looking if there are some questions. So when you see me looking to the side, I just want to catch everything you want to know. So we will always start first with choosing the job objective. The first thing I always ask if you would come into our office is, what type of work are you looking for? What do you want to go for, right? Because without a goal, it's really hard to create a resume, and it's nearly impossible because a resume needs to be specific. It needs to be specific for the job you're applying for. If I want to, for example, you want to apply for customer service, but you're applying with your manufacturing skills and experience, it doesn't reflect any of the skills needed for the customer service one, right? And that is something you need to keep in your mind when you're working on your resume. Besides knowing what kind of job you want, it is really important to do some research to know what is important for this position, to know what should I include in the resume. So what do I mean by this? So you need to prove that you're qualified for the job, for what you're applying for, right? And how do you prove it? Well, you refer to the job description, the company website, really important, research the company you're applying for. Just because it gives you ideas what the employer is looking for, right? And the best guide ever is the job posting. The HR is telling you exactly what they are looking for, right? They tell you what skills and experience and qualification you need to have, but please don't just copy and paste it. Read what they want to have, what they are looking for, and use your own words to reflect it, okay? In your own words, because they want to hire you and not just the job posting. Look into job description. Google is sometimes a really big friend in this situation. Just, it will give you a general idea. What is this job here in Canada with our Canadian culture? What does it mean to be a bank teller here, or to be a service provider here, or to be a welder here? What do I need for it? It gives you general information about it, and it helps you again to work on your resume. Go on the company website, read the mission statement. What values do they have? What goals do they have? What vision does this company, this organization has? Especially important it is for companies who are working with people, like social related jobs, right? Yeah, and then you can even ask current employees, you know, make connection in the community, ask them how is it to work there, what is your normal day looking like, what is this job actually including? And that is really important. And for you, it will be really good because then you can reflect it all into your resume and then it creates a strong resume, okay? So now here, okay, we will answer this question. Oh, we can answer that now. Renee?
Sure. Okay.
We will learn this back and forth. Sorry, everyone, but we will get there.
The question is, if the company offers both ways to drop in a resume, email or in person, which one is most advised? It really depends on the company. Some companies and organizations prefer you to send it online in an email. Some companies prefer if you were to drop it off. So really it's up to you what you think the company is looking for. Agnes, do you have anything to add to that question?
I read already something like in every job posting, there's saying we prefer, or please submit your resume via email. But if you want to, you can come in person. So then you know already, okay, they kind of want to do emails. They prefer that. Sometimes they're saying you can drop off your resume and your cover letter in person at this and this address, or you can send it. Then you kind of know already, they want to see me, they want to meet me, because we are not adding any personal information in our resumes. So no birth dates, no if we are female or male, no age, so they don't know am I young, am I older, right? No family status. They don't see a picture of how professional am I dressing, how is my appearance, right? So some companies, they're tricking a little bit around this and they're inviting you to drop it off in person just to have this one first impression. And so when you're going and bringing this resume, please don't go in sweatpants. Go according to the position you're applying for. So if it's a service representative, a customer service office job, administration, have that appearance, like come clothed and get dressed well for the job. And you're all specialists, you're all experts, so you know how to be according to the job, right? Renee?
Okay, we have another question here. What if my previous experience doesn't match the job posting, but I'm still very interested? Well, Agnes is going to get into this a little further on in the webinar, but you always want to look at the skills that you have, even if your previous experience might not match it exactly. We can always work together one-on-one if you need that extra help to see what skills you have.
Mm-hmm. So I think we will just keep going through what we prepared, because some answers will come through that, and if not, we will look into that. Okay, so the next point, after you kind of know, okay, this is what I want, I found the job I want to apply for, you need to choose the style you are want to present. And there are two common resume styles. It's a chronological, and we prepared a sample, and I will throw it on the screen here in a little bit. We choose Curtis Covell, who will present as the chronological resume, and we will choose John Smith as a sample, who will give us a combination resume. All right, so if I'm now showing you this here from Curtis, this is a typical chronological resume where there is the summary of qualifications, and then there's the work history. If you're looking through it here on the screen, we start with job title, company, dates, and the duties, and the same for the next jobs. Then the education part, volunteer, and everything is in a timely manner. So you've seen this style probably a lot because it's a really common style to use. It is really useful if you're applying for a job that is very similar to the last jobs you've had, right? Because it reflects in the duties and it reflects in the job title. So for example, if you're looking into Curtis' job here, in his resume, if Curtis would apply for another metal job, this resume would work very, very well because it is his recent job. The positive part of a chronological one is it highlights really your work history in a chronological order, in a timely order. It's pointing out a steady employment record. The work history is the main focus of this resume, and it's really useful is if your last job was similar to the job you are applying now for, okay? It's really negative if it can reveal poor work history because it's so chronological, and if you have gaps in there through maybe education or if you stayed home for a while, it really reveals gaps in a really harsh way. It is really structured, it is harder to customize, and it doesn't really highlight your strengths and your personality, okay? So if we are looking into John Smith's resume sample, who is a combination sample, and I kind of enjoy this way more than anything else because it reflects way more about your personality, because it focuses way more on skills and experience, and you can see that through the part of qualifications, and then we start with skills and experience where we even have some subheadings in it like public relations skills and organizational skills, right? So now, if he, and you see then his work history, his education. So if he would apply for a bakery assistant position, he should probably use a chronological one because it's focusing again on his previous skills. But this one focuses way more on his public relations skills he's gained maybe through volunteering or through other jobs he did, right? And it's really helpful if you're applying for a position that is different than to the most recent position, just because you want to have a different challenge, different responsibilities, to learn something new. So now we've seen that, I just want to kind of summarize that as well. So the combination one has the positive part in it because it highlights the relevant skills and it focuses on selected areas of accomplishments and experience necessary for the job you're applying for. It hides your gaps, and if you have any, and it can be really customized to a specific position you're looking for, okay? It is negative because it involves more work. You need to change your resume every time you're applying for a different position. You can't just have one resume for 20 different positions. You need to customize it. And that can maybe result in having multiple resumes. We have clients, they have 10 to 20 different resumes with a different focus. And it's not that familiar like the chronological style, but it's really helpful if you want to try something new out and you want to show that, like you said, you have maybe not the experience, but you have the knowledge, right? And so you can show that, and that is helpful with this. We've provided you with a different sample as well. And just to show you how the choice between chronological and combination resume can be really, really important. So this resume example goes about Arlene Kelly. Arlene is 26 years old and she has plenty of customer service experience, but she wants to pursue her dream to work with troubled youth. And she had some first-hand experience living in a residential youth care facility. So her resume she had, and I will show it to you in a little bit, didn't give her any opportunities to go to an interview who were working with residential youth care situations in the facilities, right? So now let's look into the resume, what didn't really help her. So this is her original resume. And if you would be an HR manager and you would get this resume, so I will give you a moment to read through it. So just imagine you're the HR manager, you're sitting in the hiring seat and you're looking at their original resume and you're looking for someone who can work with the troubled youth. So you're looking for someone who has the compassion and the experience. You might look for phrases like youth care worker, experience working in a social field, something like that, right? On the first glance, I can't see anything. At the volunteer activities, if you look at that, you can see that she has some history in it, but really towards the end of the resume. And as a human resource manager, if I start to read that she worked as a waitress and a security guard, maybe I would even stop reading it at all and not catch that she has experience working as a volunteer. So let's look at the different resume. This is a combination resume, and it focuses on her highlights of qualifications and her relevant work experience. And if you're looking at what stands out, I think you can tell right away what she's applying for. Her resume now, she's emphasizing her assessment and counseling skills, along with her other skills working with troubled youth. And there are a lot of hints that she is qualified for this job. And if you're looking under education training, she points out relevant courses. So you don't really just need to have your post-secondary education. Even every relevant course you took during your lifetime and necessary and positive for this job you're applying for, you can mention in this rubric. So what do you think? Which resume the employer would likely keep reading and then maybe invite for an interview from the same person, right? So this is how we want to highlight that this combination style is really helpful if you're choosing a completely different expertise and field of working in, right? So the next step where we will look into it is the work history. We kind of start always in the middle of the resume because we're saying the work history is easy because it's facts, right? What did you work? When did you work? Where did you work? It's really, really easy. And we always choose this because later we can refer in the qualification part, we can refer to the work history part of it. And it is really important that you always start with your most recent work and then you go back around 5 to 10 years. And 10 years only if it's necessary and important for the job you're applying for. So for example, if I worked during, let's say, I worked during my high school time, I worked in a superstore in my country. So now here, maybe I was a waitress and let's say I was home with my kids and I took care of my family and now I would like to apply here at Walmart or Superstore. But my last jobs, they were completely not related to any supermarket. So what can I do? And my experience is like 20 years ago. Then I can mention it. I can write in the work history, relevant work history, cashier, supermarket, this and this, name, country, let's say 10 years. Even if it's like long time ago, I did it, right? But I can still reflect my history in there. You need to include your job title And if you don't really know how is your job title translated into Canadian style, again, Google. Look into job description, read it through. Is that what I did? Is this what my job actually means? Or ask us. We help you to research. We are good hunters. You need to have the company name, the location, and the dates of employment. You do not need to provide a job description in a combination one, because you will combine it in the skills and experience section. However, if you choose a chronological one, you need to choose or use your job description as well, right? And you can as well include unpaid work. I know some countries you work, but it's like a volunteer job because you're not getting paid. And so you can add it into your work history because you were doing full-time duties, right? And if you have a lot of changes in your work history, maybe we can combine some work, or we can just leave some away just to not show an unsteady work history, okay? Okay, this is kind of how a work history should look in a resume. Really clean, nothing dramatic, no playing around with fonts, okay? Just an example, but again, notice here is no job description for each of the jobs, so this would be a combination resume. And you see here what I mentioned before in other related work experience, because the person thought, okay, I need this assistant manager in it because it's really important, but it's so long ago that I don't want to fill in all the gaps. So I just use the option to say 5 years. All right, so then you can reflect that you have some experience in that. The next part we will look into it is your education and training. And I know this is sometimes a challenge, especially if you are international educated, but there's always an option to reflect the right kind of like the facts in it, okay? You just need to have the name of the diploma, your course or certificates, the name of the school, and the years you attended the school. We always know that sometimes people are afraid to add everything to not overqualify. And again, that is really something specific. And we gladly discuss that with you on a one-on-one appointment or through emails or whatever you prefer, because it really depends on what job you're choosing for and what's your history, okay? All right, so this is how education training can look. So again, you see it is in a chronological order, like in a timely order, and it has every information that's needed, okay? I'm just seeing here some questions. Sorry, I just want to scroll down so I'm not missing here anything. Okay, we will talk about that a little bit later. All right, so now the next step would be, hoping this is jumping here, trying, okay. There we go. So the next step 5 would be volunteer interests and hobbies. So interests and hobbies, I'm a little bit carefully because we are not 16 anymore. You know, most of us who are applying here, who are immigrating here or starting a new career, have already a couple of years lived, right? So we are not 16 and we are not need to impress through interests and hobbies. However, if this interest and hobbies is important for the job you're applying for, yes, we can mention it, but volunteering is a huge part in this community here. So it offers really a picture of yourself and outside of the work environment, all right? It's interest, your interest serves as an indicator of your personality. With hobbies, yeah, you always need to be careful, right? Only if it's really necessary for the job again, but volunteer experience is amazing here, and it gives you connections. It helps you to build up a community. It helps you to build up a professional network, and you always, again, start chronological. Start with your last one. Mention what position you did and where, and add 2 to 3 bullet points What was your daily duties there or your regular duties there? Okay, so, and I understand that in some countries, and I'm coming from a country where volunteering was not important and it was not promoted at all. You only had some volunteer experience when you were involved in the local church, and that was my luck. So I worked a lot with children there. However, it's never too late to build up a volunteer history, all right? And that is something Renee and I are always pointing out. It's never too late. It doesn't matter if you have zero experience as a volunteer, because it doesn't only help others, it helps you. It helps you to make connection, professional connection. If you work, let's say at MCC, and you're sorting some clothes, you don't know the person beside you could be the granny of a shop owner who can help you to make a connection to find a position. Plus, it shows you care for others, and it's really reflects your personality. We have here listed up some volunteer opportunities here, like community events, like Canada Day celebrations, Harvest Festival, Sunflower Festival in Altona, the Corn and Apple Festival in Morden. If you never attended one of this, they are really, really fun. We have in Winkler the Central Station and the Bunker, who works with a lot of youth and within the community. We have the Hub Community Center in Morden. We have the Community Meal Program in Altona, Salem Home, Tabor Home, and the Gardens on Thames. It's like elderly care homes. They are always thankful for volunteers who are investing their time and their passion and compassion, right? And regional connections. Yes, you can volunteer with us within the organization. Some samples are like Language Buddy, the Cultural Festival, the Winterfest, the Newcomer Welcoming Evenings, classroom assistants, and more. And the best person to contact here is Alicia Hildebrand. She's our volunteer and integration coordinator. She's amazing. She's able to build this connection, to find the right options for you, and even to have some opportunities in the community. And sometimes it even really close to the job maybe you want to do, right? Because there's volunteering as an accountant, you know, for the free accounting opportunities for newcomers or other things. Building up a portfolio of volunteer history, it's never too late for it. And this is really good if you have older kids, to tell them too. It's really important to start now already to build it up, okay? So yeah, I'm really passionate about volunteering. You saw that already. But I feel like even meeting people through that, right? Building this social connection and professional. All right, so step 6 would be references. That would be the last point on the visual resume. And references are former employers, supervisors, co-workers. You can even, like, if you volunteer, you can choose your volunteer leader, or if you go to classes, even English classes, you could ask the teacher if they can be references. You should never use relatives, because they should talk nicely about you. They should like you, you know? So we are not using this reference available upon request, because references are always asked mostly in any job posting. If they are not asking for it, for sure in the interview, you will be asked if you have your reference prepared. So prepare them. You need to ask your references if they're okay to be used as a reference. Ask them permission. Have their, like, tell them what job you're looking for, so that they are knowing who will call them and for what position you're applying for. Give them even a copy of your resume, so they are knowing about your professional experience, especially if it's a character reference, if it's friends. Often they don't really know what you all worked with, or what you trained in, or what is your professional experience and skills, right? And have their contact information updated and current. Nothing worse can happen if an HR manager is interested in your resume, is interested in meeting you, and they want to call a reference to get some feedback, and the numbers are not active anymore. Okay, so be really, yeah, professional with it. So yeah, and even like keep in touch with your references. Sometimes it's just like people we met, tell them about how the interview went, tell them how your job search went, if you're still using them as a reference, or if you found your dream job, then you can even thank them, because often they were playing a big part in that. Okay, so all right. Now I'm going into something it's more challenging, and that is experience and skills. Often that is the hardest part, because you work about, or you need to present your personal skills, your personality. You need to brag a little bit about yourself, what I'm always saying. And often it is really hard to speak positive about yourself, right? But it needs always to be tailored to show the skills you've learned, which applies to the position you're applying for. So let's just go through some definitions just to understand it a little bit better. So skills. The first is hard skills. That's easy, that's measurable skills, like language or technical abilities, okay? This is really, let's say, like typing or using a specific tool or playing the piano if it's important for the job, all right? Then soft skills, they have more to do with your character, your personality, the attributes, okay? So for example, being a team player, being a quick learner, or being patient, compassionate, something like that. Most positions require actually a combination of hard skills and soft skills. And I know from my country, where I'm coming from, hard skills is what impresses. No one wants to know if I'm nice. Well, I should be nice, but they're not asking for it. But here it is really something where you can paint a picture about yourself, and you can use these tools on combining hard skills and soft skills. So yeah, and sorry, I need to, something popped up here, but no. So transferable skills even are one part of skills, and I think someone of you asked, right? Like, can I apply for a job where I don't have the history and the knowledge, but I've like, I don't have education in it, I don't have the work history in it, but I have a knowledge in it. There we go. So that I call transferable skills. So now let's say I love to bake and I love to cook. Believe me, if I suffer that I can't cook here for 20, 50 people every weekend, and my family's eating a lot lately. So I love to bake since I can remember. However, I have finance management education in my background, and now I want to apply at a restaurant for maybe a line cook. So now I have no whatsoever work history backing up this decision and backing up this goal. However, I can transfer my skills, my hobbies, into reflecting it in qualifications and skills and experience through being excited about baking and learning about different techniques and writing everything about it, what I know. So I transfer skills that I can use in it. That would be a sample from me, okay? Okay, so now skills heading. I don't know if you still remember that in one of the resumes, and I will show it to you in a little bit, there are skills headings, and that helps us a little bit to sort through it. So we are not scrambling all over the paper, but we are putting it into packages, and we are choosing a heading to define it a little bit better. So now at this resume from Arlene Kelly, the nice one, you can see that she used assessment and counseling skills, security skills, communication and customer service skills under the relevant work experience part, okay? So these are the top skills the employer is actually looking for, and she has it, so she wants to reflect it. And it helps always to look into the job you're applying for And if available, to choose 3 or 4 of the top categories the employer is looking for and that you have, that you can deliver. And it is always to ask, what does the HR manager want from me? And that is what you need to reflect. And then you need to fill it with samples, okay? So for example, if you are looking now on the left side, there are examples of skills when I would apply for an administrative position. So you ask yourself, what may I need for this? And then perhaps you will need, let's say, skills, administrative skills and computer skills. Communication is important, and probably supervising skills and experience. So once you've come up with all these skills headings, the next area of focus is you need to demonstrate how you possess that, okay? So you need to emphasize the positive qualities of your previous work experience. You can use your volunteer experience, and you can choose some educational history you have. And you need to use action verbs because it makes a statement stronger and helps to describe how you did something. And don't use like, I did this, I did that, but use I planned, I assisted, I demonstrated, I provided, okay? And don't use the action verb, like the same one all the time. So you can see this 2 parts here, how you just collect what you want to emphasize, and then you find the demonstration statements, how you can write about it. And again, I know we are going quite fast here through, but if you want to, we can always provide you with a booklet, and we can work over it again. All right. This 8th step is highlights of qualification. And I often really enjoy that because this is where you are allowed to tell them how amazing you are and that you are the best choice for this position. Okay. This is all the main reasons why you're qualified for the job, and it shows your strongest assets first. And I would keep the job requirements in mind, so the job posting, okay? So through working through all the other steps, you know the details. You know, okay, I work there, this is my education, this is what they want. So this skills and experience I have, and now your personality needs to shine, okay? And yes, you can start with, I have so many years of experience, and I have training in this field, this skills, and any other qualifications you're bringing into this job should be mentioned into the part qualification. I hope that makes sense. And for us, often when we ask, so now tell me about yourself, that is a big question, but that's even a question they will ask you in an interview. So when you've learned to kind of focus and combine all what you think is your strengths and write it down, then you will for sure be able to reflect that in an interview as well, and be able to show them again, this is why I'm good for this position. All right. So yeah, finishing the resume and editing it. So edit it, and edit it again. Make sure your layout is consistent. So if you're using month and year, use it always like that. If you're choosing a certain style, choose it throughout your whole resume. Keep it easy to read. Don't change. Yeah, I wrote down there like fancy, crazy fonts. If you're not applying for a really creative job, so then please be structured and avoid any crazy fonts. Use white or a white paper when printing, no colorful. Then edit for grammar. If there are so many tools online to choose, or let someone else read it. Even we are always saying, if we help you, please read it again, because often when you work on a resume for a longer time, you read words, they're not even there. They are just here in our mind because we're reading through it so often. So read it again. Read if we wrote exiting or exciting. There's just a little letter missing in there, but it means suddenly something else. So edit, and add it again. Ask for someone to read over it, make suggestions, because sometimes your partner, your friend, they know you so good. Maybe they will say, hey, you've done this in this course, or hey, remember you worked for free this summer there and there, and it's so important for this position. And you forgot about it because it was not that important in that moment, right? And yes, add it again. Okay, so we are at the end of our little presentation, and you see here our phone number, and please feel free to connect with us and to ask more questions. But I think Renee was keeping up with the questions we haven't answered so far, so I will just give up to her, and then let's see if we can find some answers here. And if you have more questions, please keep writing.
Yes, exactly. If you have more questions, please write them here at the Q&A. So for the first question I'm going to answer here, should we do a follow-up call, calling the company after dropping off the resume? Yes, you should do a follow-up call. I would do a follow-up call a week and a half to 2 weeks after you dropped off the resume if you've heard nothing from them. Give them a call, make sure it ended up in the right hands, and see if they need any more information from you. Okay. Combination resume is a great one. That's a good comment. Then question here, can you keep applying to a company even if they have not responded to your previous application at all? Or do you just move and forget about it? However you feel you can do the job they offer. Okay, so you've applied to a company where they have not responded. Have you made a follow-up call to the company to see if they had everything, if the resume, if they received it? If the application was, let's say somebody else got the position, can you apply again to the same company? Depending on where you've applied, sometimes the company will have your resume on file for several months and will maybe look back at the resume to see if you fit in for another position that they are hiring for. If there's another position that comes up, maybe yeah, you've worked on your resume a little bit more, you could apply again. I would just ensure, right, if they already have your resume on file, depending on the company, maybe you would only need to write a new cover letter and send it in. Also, in the meantime, if you've applied, maybe there's some more experience that you could get. As Agnes had mentioned, volunteering. Maybe there's somewhere where you could volunteer to get some more skills, or just have something on your resume as well.
Yeah.
Is there any more questions? Oh. Is it real that my resume being outside of Canada will not be processed due to companies' system of checking some points in it, like country, phone, etc.? That's a good question.
Okay, maybe I jump in here.
Yeah.
So because we have so many newcomers here in this area, like Morden, Winkler, Altona, and surrounding, that our employers and HR managers are often really kind and understanding that it comes from a different work culture. Okay, so no, not everyone will throw it out because they see behind the not Canadian style, all right? Because they can look really, and will see your education, they will see your experience, they will see everything. However, it's never wrong if you, let's say you applied already to a company and now you realize, oh wow, I put everything down what's not necessary for the job. So let's say you put down a picture, your personal information, weight, eye color. In some cultures, it is common to do that, right? and you said, oh, I didn't write about my qualification, I have no soft skills in it, no hard skills in it. Well, revise your resume, work on it, and submit it again and say, I've applied already last week. However, I revised my resume towards the Canadian style so that I can reflect better my suitability for this position. Please accept this resume for my application. And it's nothing wrong with it, because you show that you're actually, yes, you were excited, you saw the job and you applied. But then you started to look into it and you started to research, and it shows a lot of dedication. Does that answer the question? Okay.
Okay.
Renee, do you have anything?
Sure. The next question is, could you send us your PowerPoint? We also have created sort of a little packet. If you would like to receive it, please send us an email or call Regional Connections, and maybe we could arrange a time that you could pick this up. It also has a lot of the material about what we had talked about today. It provides those examples of those resumes that Agnes had went through.
I'm trying to.
Okay. Will it be just okay if I will not include my work experience gained from my previous country? That kind of the question is, maybe why aren't you, depending on how far back the experience is. If it was over 7 years ago, maybe you don't want to add it. If your experience is relevant for the position that you want to apply for, I would say include it in your resume. That is something we can also help you look at. If you make an appointment, we can see what does the work experience look like.
That's a good question.
Should I include a note that I'm willing to relocate? Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say you could include something like this, maybe in a cover letter, that you are passionate about this position, you have the experience, and that you would be willing to relocate for a position. Maybe you could also highlight that in your resume if it was a position more where maybe you were willing to travel for work. But if it was more relocating, I would suggest maybe putting it in your cover letter. Any other questions?
Okay, I don't see that there are only, oh, yeah, coming more. You want to see the chronological resume again? Okay, give me 1 second. All right. So there's another question. I had done some high-level job in my home country. Will it harmful for me to apply lower-level job?
Okay, are you answering that one or do you want me to?
Go ahead, Renee.
Okay. So you asked, you've done some, maybe a higher level job in your home country. Will it be harmful to apply for a lower level job? No, it won't be harmful to apply for a lower level position. If you are concerned in your resume that you have this job in here and that an employer will see that and think maybe they don't want to hire you, you could create a combination style resume where the first thing the employer is going to see is your skills and experience for that position. Yes, they will still be able to see your work history, but they will first see the skills and experience for the job and why you would also be able to do that position. Are there any other questions?
So I'm not seeing any other open questions. We're gladly trying to answer your questions. So if you have more, please let us know or send us an email. Let's book some one-on-one appointments where we can do FaceTime, where we can go into your personal situation and your personal goals and your questions you have. And it really helps if you prepared already a resume by yourself, because it shows, it reflects your personality for us. And now you know work history, education, that's something you can collect. And even like, why do you think you're good for the position you're applying for? And that helps us to guide you through creating a really strong resume, what hopefully gives you the invitation to an interview, because that makes us more than anything else happy, right? So that's our goal. There's another question, Renee.
Can I send you my resume for review? Yes, please send it to either my resume or Agnes's resume, or call Regional Connections to book an in-person or on the phone appointment, and we'd love to help you review your resume.
I got one question for everyone. It's just a voice out of the dark. Would you guys be interested in webinars a little more frequently from Employment Facilitators, let's say every second week? And if we would do a webinar on interview skills next time, just let us know if you're interested, then we prepare the interview skills for next time.
Yeah. Even in general, if there are any topics you think it would be really helpful for you to work on it right now already, to just be prepared, then please let us know. We would love to help you. We would love to assist you, provide support, and we're here, and we really want to help.
Even if you don't have an idea right now, but you will have in the near future, then just email us, please, all of your ideas, and then we'll go over it. So this is all new for us as well. We used to do information sessions, and so now every program settlement and the settlement workers in schools and employment, we all work online and do our workshops, which is a lot of fun, and actually we reach more people this way. And I hope we can continue doing this. And for employment, we're planning on doing it every second week, and it would be helpful if we can provide an actual information that you are actually interested in, and not just you know. So the need has to come from you, and then we'll react to it. Let's put it that way. A lot of words.
Trying to type correctly here.
Oh, thank you so much, Zarina. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the encouragement. I really appreciate that. So yeah, then I'm just looking forward to meet all of you eventually, hopefully in person soon. And if not, then through webinars, through touching topics important for being prepared, and yeah, working on your dreams. And so let us know what topics are important for you. Credentials recognition, trades qualification. We are trying to cover this all.
Yes, and we will see you all hopefully in 2 weeks from now, same time, same date. It is Monday, right? So Monday at
Yes.
2 p.m. in 2 weeks from now for another employment presentation. I just dropped it on you guys. You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah. No, and we are excited because this is why we're doing this, right? So literally, please, everyone, if you call us and you said, I got an interview or I got the job, we're literally going to each other and like not in the moment, but we high five each other because we're so excited about your success here. I know how it is to move into a different country. Employment is a big part of it. And if we can play a little part in it to help you, to encourage you, to not give up on your big goals and look into other opportunities, that's all why we're here.
Mm-hmm. And thank you so much for your feedback. I see that you guys are interested, so it's awesome. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, and there's just one question here, sorry. Yes, we can send out the PowerPoint presentation. We prepared already a booklet, like Renee said, with some tools like job search tools or how to collect all the informations. And if you would like to receive it, please send us an email. So we are not sending it to everyone and annoying everyone, but just who wants to have it, we gladly provide you with all material we have. Yes. I don't know if you need our emails again. I will just go back to the last slide here.
Even if you can't find our email addresses or by any chance you lose it, always just email info@regionalconnections.ca and we will get it. We will.
I really appreciate your confirmation that you got some information out of today, and thank you again. It's a pleasure to work with you, and I'm excited about our future work.
All right, I think we're done for today.
Okay.
And thank you very, very much, everybody, and see you soon at one of our webinars and for sure at our employment, I hope. Okay, see you, everyone.
Take care. Bye.